Hi there, VC. It's Steve Whitty again. Hope you're all doing well. Now, hopefully, you might have been watching part one of my recent finds video, which I recorded Saturday and posted Saturday. Today, it's still Saturday. I'm recording part two, which I'm going to post on Sunday. So today, I think I'm getting a bit confusing myself. I hope everyone is well and that you're sticking with it so far. As I say, I brought recently, catching up on showing what I bought recently, so a fair few. I've got quite a few to show again. This might be another long video, but I think however long this is, it's going to be worth showing, sticking with, because I've got some nice albums to show. So let's start. Marillion, Clutching at Straws, which was released in 1987. This was the last album to feature Fish on the EMI label. This has become my favourite Fish era Marillion album. They had Misplaced Childhood had broke. They had 2 top 5 singles with Kaylee and Lavender, and I think the realisation was that fame, particularly to Fish, that fame wasn't all it was cracked out to be. And really at this time, the cracks were starting to appear within the band. In 1988, Fish would leave Marillion. It's actually quite telling. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I don't know if you can see the cover there. You can see Fish sort of apart from the rest of the band. Now, whether that was intentional at the photo shoot or not, but it did highlight a chasm. Fish was going in one direction, the band going in another. I think there was a bit of resentment that Fish, being the singer, was getting the limelight. He was doing the interviews, he was the face of the band. Unfortunately, Fish, it was that the band didn't want to do the interviews, and Fish was the one that was doing the interviews. He didn't particularly want to, and I think he just thought differences made, and I think they decided to part the ways. Bit of ill feeling at the time. I think they get on now. They did play a gig, do a sort of show at Aylesbury, where they played some of the early stuff. Since I've been buying vinyl records, one of the artists that I've really pleased to have picked up on is John Martin, and I've managed to find a couple more of his albums. Bless the Weather, which came out in '71. That's a Pink Rim Island, so it's quite an early recording. Did pay for it, even though the cover is slightly damaged. It's absolutely wonderful. Go Easy, Bless the Weather, Glistening Guineborn's wonderful. It does a little version of Singing in the Rain right at the end. You've got Danny Thompson, Richard Thompson on the album. Beverly Martin appears on the album as well. Produced by John Martin and John Wood. Absolutely wonderful. I just, you find an artist and you just think, wow, and you just want to find more of their records. And he's another artist. I mentioned about Rory Gallagher in the last video being an artist. I want to get as much on vinyl as I can, and John Martin falls into that category. I also managed to find a copy of Sunday's Child. Now, this is an 80s reissue. Came out in '74. This is really in the period. You can see the Ireland label. This is a sort of like an 80s reissue label. He really was at his peak, at the creative peak at this time, and just wonderful. It is wonderful music. I can't say any more than that. Obviously Sunday's Child on there. Spencer the Rover, which is a traditional song. The beauty of John is it's so sparse. It's so sparse. The music's so sparse. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful listen, which sort of contradicts the man. One of the things I've got to get is his book that came out about him this year. I've got to get hold of it. Apparently the man was a bit of an arse, to be not too blunt about it. Treated people rotten. Now he knocked Beverly around apparently, and he liked to drink, and sort of like that sort of Jekyll and Hyde character. which is a shame. I suppose none of us are perfect. Next up, Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory. This is the 25th anniversary edition. It's reissued on coloured vinyl. It's a bit like Definitely Maybe. They put it out on like a silver vinyl. To be quite honest, I don't know if it's my ears as I'm getting older. I don't think the pressing's that great, to be honest. And I'm not a big one onto pressings. I'm not what you call an audiophile. I've never made any pretence to be one. I'm no expert on this, but to my ears it sounds very rough, distorted. And I believe this, when they did a vinyl reissue in, I don't know, it might have been 2016 or something like that. That pressing was the same, and I think they've just copied that pressing onto here. They haven't done anything apart from put it onto coloured vinyl. So, yeah, bit of a shame. It's a good album. It's a classic album. You know, Wonderwall, some might say. Don't Look Back in Anger. This defines Britpop. This is where Britpop was at its peak. Oasis were top of the world at that point. I wondered where that had gone. And it just went downhill from there for them. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Into the Great Wide Open. Found this for a tenner. Would normally cost a lot more, but you can see from the barcode here, this used to be property of a public library, and it's quite actually amazing for a library record. It's in actually good nick. Produced by Jeff Lynne. Right, on MCA, there's a lovely still got this sort of like Stan Lynch on drums there. So you've got Learning to Fly, Into the Great Wide Open. Some really wonderful tracks on here. Absolutely wonderful. Built to Last, You and I Will Meet Again. Really wonderful album. I know a couple of friends of mine went and saw them on this tour. One of them sadly passed away in a car accident a few months afterwards. Wonderful album, wonderful record. Talking of Tom Petty, I think a fair few people have shown this. This is Wildflowers and All the Rest. This is the I won't get it out because I might find it difficult to get it back in. Triple album that came out reissue came out a few weeks ago. So the first four sides are the album Wildflowers, and then sides 5 and 6 are what's considered to be All the Rest. Produced by Rick Rubin with Tom Petty and Mike Campbell. I really wasn't aware of it, but I'd heard that people had raved about this album, and I know people in the shop had a original vinyl copy which went absolutely for silly money, and everyone was saying how good his album it is. So I took the plunge, had a listen online, and I thought when it came out, when it was on pre-order, I thought, you know what, I'll take the plunge on this, and it's well worth it. Absolutely wonderful album. Another album I was well pleased to find, and it's in better nick than I thought, is Sunday's Reading, Writing and Arithmetic. This came out on Rough Trade in 1990. It's a bit marked, the record, but it ain't too bad. It does play. Here's where the story ends. The big thing is the best known track, partly because it got reissued did a dance mix. I think Tintin Out or something like that. Did it in 1999 and became a big hit single. And it became pop. It came top 5 in the UK. It was up there for album of the year. I don't think it won. What else? I think they only recorded 2 more albums afterwards. I'm not really that much aware of their work. All I know is this is a bloody good album, and it's well worth seeking out if you haven't heard it. It covers a bit. I've seen better days, but I was pretty pleased to find this because I think it's normally the rough trade stuff's usually quite expensive. They signed to Parlophone, and I think Harriet Weaver and the guitarist David Gaverin, or so, how you pronounce it. They're like an item. They became partners, and they basically stopped to bring up family. There's rumours that they're going to be playing again, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest. Talking about partners in music, Richard and Linda Thompson. I want to see the Bright Lights Tonight. This is a 2020 reissue. Don't know if it would originally come out on the island, on the island label with a pink rim. Absolutely wonderful album. I did have a CD to this somewhere, and I can't find it. That's why I ended up buying this. And when I get to the border, Cavalry Cross, Witherin Died. I want to see the Bright Lights Tonight. Great title track, which has brass bands in music, mixture of rock, folk, everything. Didn't chart. I think there was quite a big push to get everywhere. You forgive the glare, but it's absolutely wonderful, wonderful album, wonderful. Talking of which, I found a copy of this as well. This is Pour Down Like Silver. This came out, I think, in '75. This is Hannibal reissue, 80s reissue on that Joe Boyd's Hannibal label. He managed to reissue quite a lot of like 70s folk rock stuff that he was connected with on his own label. And you can tell from the pictures, this is at the time they adopted the Sufi, converted to Muslim, the Sufi version of Muslim. They decided to give up music and live on a Sufi commune at that point. Again, it's a really good album. This was recorded before they did that. They effectively at that point retired from the music industry, and was quiet for a couple of years. Richard Thompson has still kept his Muslim face. They did leave the commune. I think they came a bit disillusioned with it. Like a lot of people that give up that, it doesn't quite work. But it's a great album. It's a wonderful album. When I showed this, I think a few people said, "Oh, great!" So I was really happy to find that. A bit of reggae for you. This is Peter Tosh, Legalise It. Came out on the Virgin label. Again, it's not with reggae, especially of 70s reggae. If it's popular, you do well to find a really good copy of it. Came out in '76, and effectively, it's a bit. You got things like Legalise It. It's obviously the best known track. Burial, What You Gonna Do, No Sympathy, Why I Must Cry. It's some really good stuff, and it features quite a lot of Bob Marley and the Wailers. The Wailers at the time. Bunny Wailer's on there, Rita Marley's on there, Judy Mowatt's on there, Al Anderson's on there. You've also got, I believe, you might have some Sly and Robbie on there. Robbie Shakespeare's on there. Robbie Shakespeare's, not Sly's. Dunbar's not on drums, but Robbie Shakespeare's on bass. A great album. You've even got picture on the back of the original Wailers. I was really pleased to have that. As I say, it's not in the greatest shape, but I suspect reggae of that period isn't. This is a twofer, Tyrannosaurus Rex twofer. It's got Unicorn and it's got Beard of Stars. It's quite significant. Twofer, this Unicorn's the last album to feature Steve Peregrine Tuck on here. It carries on the first two albums, Tyrannosaurus Rex albums, dedicated to the three friends of Hiawatha. Very much Lord of the Rings and all that. I mean, John Peel reads the story on one of the tracks on the Fly label. But by the time Peregrine Took was sacked and Mickey Finn, joined the band, you could see the direction that Mark Bolan wanted to take the band, and there's more electric guitar on here. And again, produced by Visconti, but yes, still elements of the acoustic, but you can hear electric guitar coming on there, and obviously that morphed into T-Rex with Ride the White Swan. Mark Bolan always wanted to be a star. And all the things about all the hippie things, he took it as far as he could, and then when he had the opportunity, he couldn't wait to take it further. Another reissue I was pleased to get. This is U2's All That You Can Leave Behind, the 20th anniversary edition, double album. It's a nice package, a nice little booklet, and 2 albums there. Mostly Beautiful Day was the lead single, #1 for them. Used by ITV for when they showed Premier League football. Stuck in the Moment, you can't get out of. Elevation, Ground Beneath Her Feet. Probably my favourite U2 album of the 2000s. Because there can be, the last couple of albums have just passed me by, to be quite honest. But this is an album that's worth seeking out. It's a good listen. I enjoyed that album. A couple more albums by this band. This is Velvet Underground, White Light, White Heat. Came out in '68. This is the last album to feature. This is a Polydor issue. Last album to feature John Cale. Obviously the title track, The Gift. Sister A is the closest side too. Here She Comes Now, Lady Godiva's Operation. It's a wonderful album. I think I've shown this before. It's certainly, the band was certainly finding their own feet a little bit more from the debut album, classic debut album. No Warhol involvement. And then once Cale got sacked, they brought in Doug Yule, and they recorded the self-titled Velvet Underground. Again, this is a Polydor issue. They'd left Verve at that point and gone to MGM. And on here you've got Candy Says, What Goes On, Pale Blue Eyes, Jesus. More songs were coming through there. Really good album. Well worth checking out. I'm pretty much got my Velvet Underground now complete. It was that album was after. You know what it's like? You go into a supermarket, you go and buy an orange, you come out with a record that's got orange vinyl. So this is The Who. Yeah, limited edition orange. So especially, I think, special edition for Sainsbury's. Been doing this a lot. This is The Who, live at the Isle of Wight 1970 festival. It's a triple album of their appearance, and as I said, going for an orange, I've come out with an orange vinyl record. It's my favourite concert film. At the festival, whenever it's on Sky Arts or wherever, I always watch it. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's band are at their live peak, before Moon's problems start to take over. There you go, band at the back. You see, they've got Heaven and Hell. They played Tommy pretty much in his entirety. It has come out before. I mean, there's several versions. Sounds great. So you've got Tommy on there, which takes pretty much side B, C, and D, and then they go out with Summertime's Blue, Shaking All Over, Spoonful, Twist and Shout, Medley, Substitute, My Generation, Naked Eye, Magic Bus. Absolutely wonderful album. As I said, the band at that period were well in their peak. And I think I've got one more album to show you. And again, another reissue I've put recently. This is Robert Wyatt, his greatest misses. There you go. This came out originally in 2004, and I think in Japan it came out in vinyl. It was CD, and this is the first time it's been reissued on vinyl. I haven't got any Robert Wyatt on vinyl. This is why I brought it. You've got PLA Worship, Heaps of Sheep. I'm a Believer. It opens up side 2, and he obviously has got his version of Shipbuilding as well. Wonderful voice. I was listening to it Thursday. Might have been Thursday. I was listening to it. He's got that wonderful wistful sounding to his voice. It's sort of like, oh, this is my situation. This is how it is. Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful voice. I'm a Believer was produced by Nick Mason. It became a mini hit single, and the big show in the UK at that time was Top of the Pops. This was just after he had his accident, so he's confined to a wheelchair. Unbelievable now to think that the BBC at that point was not happy about him appearing on Top of the Pops in a wheelchair. They wanted him to be plonked on a normal chair. It beggars belief now to think about it, but I think he was philosophical about it. Like he's philosophical about calling his album his greatest misses. He plays Soft Machine, did all the jazz fusion thing. I think in his heart, he's a pop music fan, and he wanted to be a pop star, as well as being a communist. So there you go, VC. That's all my recent finds. So the video's taken over 20 minutes. So I hope you liked what I've shown you over the past 2 videos. If you're new to the channel, you like what you see, click on the subscribe button. Thumbs up, thumbs down, love the interaction. I don't care if it's a thumbs down, everyone's entitled to opinion, Feel free to leave a comment. I will get back to you. I've been really good on the last video with that. So whatever you get to this weekend, VC, make sure it's a good one. I think it's cold, but the sun might not be raining, so I'm hopefully going to go and have a bit of a walk around Sutton Park, which is the big park by me. Get some well deserved fresh air into the lungs. So whatever you do, take care of yourselves. Keep spinning. More importantly, keep on smiling.